Listen closely. Most men are broken long before life ever tests them. They crack under opinions, bleed from rejection, and collapse when certainty disappears. But you will not be one of them. The first truth of the Machiavelli method is brutal and unforgiving. Power does not protect the weak mind, only mastery does. Strength is not muscle, not noise, not dominance. It is emotional detachment, the ability to see the world clearly while others are trapped inside illusion. When you master this, nothing touches you, no insult, no loss, no betrayal, because every reaction they expect from you, you refuse to give. You stop seeking validation, you stop explaining yourself, you stop needing approval, and in that moment, you become dangerous. Machiavelli understood something most never will. The man who controls himself cannot be controlled, and the one who stays calm while others react rules the game without ever standing in the spotlight. This is not kindness, not morality. This is clarity. If this message hits, comment this now. I move in silence. This is Sigridom, and the awakening has begun. Number 1. Emotional dominance. Understand this without resistance. The world is not ruled by the strongest, but by the least reactive. Most men are emotional prisoners. They flinch at disrespect, panic under pressure, and expose themselves the moment tension rises. That is why they are predictable. That is why they are controllable. You will be neither. The Machiavelli method is built on a ruthless truth. Whoever controls their emotions controls the situation. Emotional discipline is not suppression, it is superiority. When someone provokes you and you do not respond, you remove their leverage. When chaos erupts and you remain steady, others instinctively defer to you. Calm becomes gravity, silence becomes domination. Stoicism was never about goodness or virtue. It was about becoming unassailable. You learn to pause where others lash out, to observe where others impulsively react, to measure outcomes while emotions cloud everyone else's judgment. This is how power actually moves. Every emotional reaction is a confession. Anger reveals what threatens someone. Excitement reveals their desire. Fear exposes their limits. You give none of that away. Machiavelli warned that men destroy themselves by revealing their inner world too early, by trusting too fast, speaking too freely, reacting too loudly. So you do the opposite. You practice restraint. You let others talk while you collect information. You let them underestimate you because arrogance blinds faster than ignorance. You stop explaining who you are, what you want, or where you're going. Explanation is weakness disguised as transparency. Precision replaces impulse. Discipline replaces emotion. Inside, your mind becomes cold, clear, and deliberate. Never rushed, never rattled. Outside, you are unreadable. This is why nothing can break you. There is no exposed nerve to strike, no emotional handle to grab, no fragile ego begging to be validated. Pressure does not crush you, it clarifies you. You absorb stress, convert it into focus, and move with intention. This is masculine stoicism refined by reality, sharpened into strategy. While others seek comfort, you seek control. While others chase approval, you maintain leverage. This is not cruelty, it's awareness, and awareness is power. Number 2, strategic detachment. Here is where most men fail permanently. They get emotionally invested in outcomes they cannot control. They tie their identity to results, people, timing, approval. And when any of it collapses, so do they. Strategic detachment is the correction. Not indifference, not apathy, precision. You care enough to act, but never enough to lose leverage. Machiavelli understood that attachment is a liability disguised as passion. The more you need something, the more power it has over you. So you train yourself to want less, not because you lack ambition, but because dependency creates weakness. When you detach, fear starts to dissolve. Rejection loses its sting. Loss becomes data, not damage. You stop begging reality to cooperate and start adapting faster than everyone else. This is cold power psychology, the ability to move forward regardless of emotional consequence. You do not chase people. You do not force loyalty. You observe alignment. Those who stay earn space. Those who leave free it. Nothing personal, just positioning. Strategic detachment allows you to walk away without announcement, without resentment, without hesitation. Most men cling because they fear starting over. You do not. You understand that control over exits is more important than control over entrances. When you can leave any room, any deal, any relationship without emotional backlash, you become impossible to corner. This is Stoic masculinity in its purest form. Self-governed, outcome-independent, internally stable. You stop arguing to be right. You stop explaining to be understood. You stop proving anything to anyone. Your power grows in proportion to your silence. People sense it, they feel it, because detached men are rare, and rarity creates value. You begin to notice how often people try to pull reactions out of you. Drama, conflict, validation. You deny them all, not out of spite, but strategy. Reaction wastes energy. Detachment preserves it. When something fails, you don't spiral, you recalibrate. When someone betrays you, you don't rage. You adjust access. Emotion clouds judgment. Distance sharpens it. Your mind becomes quieter. Decisions become cleaner. You stop moving out of hope or desperation and start moving from leverage. This is how you remain untouchable in a hostile environment. You are present, but never needy. Involved, but never dependent. Calm, even when pressure escalates. People mistake this for coldness. It isn't. It's selectivity. Your attention becomes expensive. Your time becomes deliberate. Your reactions become rare. And because nothing external controls your inner state, nothing external can break you. Strategic detachment doesn't make you empty. It makes you sovereign. You are no longer pulled by impulse or pushed by fear. You choose. And the man who chooses instead of reacts always stays ahead of the game. Number 3, controlled reputation. Power is not loud. Power is consistent perception. Most men destroy their influence by trying to be seen, trying to explain, trying to correct every misunderstanding. That desperation leaks weakness. The Machiavelli Method treats reputation like a weapon, carefully shaped, rarely adjusted, never defended emotionally. You do not rush to clarify rumors. You do not chase narratives. You let time and results do the talking because outcomes speak louder than intentions ever will. When you control your reactions, people assume depth. When you speak less, they assign weight to your words. Silence forces others to project, and projection reveals more about them than you. This is not about deception for ego. It is about refusing to give unnecessary information. Machiavelli warned that men are judged more by appearance than reality, so you learn to manage appearance without becoming fake. Your behavior becomes predictable to you, unpredictable to others, calm under pressure, minimal explanation, no public emotional leaks. You allow people to underestimate you because underestimation creates strategic advantage. Men who seek to be liked lose respect. Men who seek to be respected gain leverage. You keep your image steady, even when internally adjusting strategy. Consistency builds authority. Erratic emotion destroys it. When someone attacks your name, you evaluate 2 things. Does responding improve your position or just satisfy your ego? Most responses are ego-driven. You let them pass. Control is knowing when not to act. Your reputation then becomes stable terrain, unshaken by gossip, unaffected by provocation. Others learn quickly that they cannot trigger you, cannot bait you, cannot manipulate your public face. This creates distance. Distance creates mystery, and mystery creates power. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be predictable to yourself and unreadable to the world. Over time, people stop testing you because tests bring no reaction. They stop challenging you because challenge requires emotional access. You remove that access. What remains is quiet authority. People trust what does not fluctuate. They respect what does not beg. Controlled reputation is not about domination. It's about positioning yourself so nothing external defines you. And when your name carries calm, discipline, and results, you never have to defend it. Number 4. Pain as leverage. Pain is inevitable. Weakness is optional. Most men experience pain and immediately ask how to escape it. You will learn how to convert it. The Machiavelli Method does not avoid suffering. It studies it. Pain is information. It reveals where illusion still exists, where expectations remain, where attachment hasn't been severed yet. When something hurts, you don't distract yourself. You don't numb it. You examine it. Because pain, when understood, becomes leverage. Most people are ruled by the fear of discomfort. They choose familiarity over advancement, comfort over competence. You do the opposite. You move toward controlled discomfort because you understand what it produces. Resilience, clarity, edge. Each time you survive pressure without breaking, your nervous system adapts. What once overwhelmed you becomes normal. What once terrified you becomes boring. This is how dominance is built quietly. Machiavelli knew that fortune favors the man prepared to endure volatility. While others collapse under instability, you function inside it. Pain stops feeling personal. It becomes mechanical, useful. Every betrayal sharpens your discernment. Every failure upgrades your strategy. Every rejection removes illusion. And because you extract value instead of emotion, nothing is wasted. Weak men seek fairness. Powerful men seek advantage. When life applies pressure, you don't ask why. It doesn't matter. You ask how to use it. Pain forces honesty when comfort allows denial. It strips you down to what actually works. You stop lying to yourself. You stop relying on motivation, inspiration, or hope. You build discipline because discipline functions regardless of mood. This is masculine stoicism in its most unforgiving form. Handling inner chaos without broadcasting it. Processing pain internally while maintaining external stability. People assume strength is the absence of suffering. It's not. Strength is remaining composed while suffering privately and progressing anyway. You become difficult to destabilize because you've already met discomfort on your own terms. When others panic, you recognize patterns. When others break, you adjust. Pain becomes familiar territory, not an enemy. And familiarity removes fear. You don't glamorize hardship, but you don't retreat from it either. You let it carve you deliberately. Over time, you notice something unsettling. What once hurt you now sharpens you. What once slowed you now accelerates you. You no longer avoid pain because pain no longer controls you. And when nothing controls your internal state, nothing controls your decisions. That is leverage. That is power. Number 5, the art of invisibility. There comes a stage where brute force becomes unnecessary, where proving yourself becomes inefficient, where visibility itself becomes a liability. This is where the Machiavelli Method turns surgical. Power does not require presence. It requires positioning. The loudest men are rarely the most influential. They are too busy being seen to be effective. You learn to disappear strategically, not retreat, not withdrawal. Invisibility with intent. When everyone is watching the board, you learn to move outside their line of sight. You stop announcing plans. You stop narrating progress. You stop signaling intention, because intention invites interference. Silence removes resistance. Most people sabotage themselves by broadcasting ambition before it's fortified. They seek validation prematurely and get distracted by reactions. You move differently. You build quietly. You study while others perform. You prepare while others posture. This creates asymmetry, an imbalance of awareness that favors you. Machiavelli understood that men fear what they cannot track. Uncertainty disrupts their confidence. When people cannot read you, they hesitate, and hesitation is power. Invisibility allows you to collect information without giving it away. You observe who talks too much, who leaks emotion, who telegraphs desperation. You learn the terrain while remaining undefined. This is not cowardice, it's efficiency. When your moves finally become visible, they appear sudden, inevitable, undeniable. People assume luck. It wasn't. It was restraint. You resisted the urge to be acknowledged. You let time compound silently. Invisibility also protects you from unnecessary enemies. Attention attracts friction. Visibility invites comparison. Comparison breeds conflict. You bypass all of it. You let others exhaust themselves competing in arenas you've already exited. Meanwhile, your focus sharpens. You conserve energy. Every interaction becomes intentional. Every word becomes measured. You no longer react to being overlooked because you understand something they don't. Being underestimated is strategic cover. Those who underestimate you lower their guard. They expose angles, they miss cues, and you gain advantage without resistance. Masculine stoicism thrives here. You detach not just emotionally, but socially. You stop needing recognition to validate action. You define success internally, not publicly. This makes you immune to trends, crowds, applause cycles. You operate on timelines that don't require explanation. The art of invisibility also disciplines ego. Ego demands acknowledgement. Discipline demands results. You feed the latter. When provoked publicly, you don't respond instantly. You assess impact. Most provocations are bait. You don't bite. You understand that silence unsettles the insecure more than confrontation ever could. They spiral, they overextend, they reveal intention. You weren't hiding, you were waiting. Waiting filters opportunity, time exposes motive. The longer you remain calm and unseen, the more others reveal who they really are. And once you know that, control becomes simple. Invisibility doesn't mean isolation. You maintain selective access, tight circles, minimal exposure, no unnecessary emotional labor. You become difficult to track, not distant, present, but elusive. This protects your momentum. It keeps your mind unpolluted. And when you finally step into the light, when action replaces preparation, you do so without noise, without explanation, without permission. At that point, resistance is irrelevant, because invisibility wasn't absence, it was incubation. Number 6, immunity to manipulation. Here's the final layer most people never reach, becoming psychologically unreachable. Manipulation only works on exposed systems: neediness, fear of loss, hunger for approval, attachment to image. Once those are neutralized, influence slides off you like rain on steel. The Machiavelli Method wasn't about cruelty for its own sake. It was about removing entry points. If no one can predict you, no one can steer you. If no one can intimidate you, no one can corner you. This is where dark psychology meets discipline. You stop accepting frames that aren't yours. You stop defending yourself against accusations that don't matter. You stop reacting to emotional pressure disguised as urgency. Manipulators rely on speed, rushed decisions, panic responses, forced answers. You slow everything down. Time becomes your shield. Silence becomes your filter. When someone pushes, you pause. When they threaten, you observe. When they attempt guilt, you detach. Their tactics fail because there's nothing to hook into. No emotional debt, no unresolved insecurity, no need to be perceived as good. You understand that morality without strategy is vulnerability. So you act ethically, but from strength, not compulsion. You don't over-explain, you don't over-justify. Explanation invites debate. Debate invites control. You choose clarity instead. Short answers, firm boundaries, unmoved posture. This unsettles manipulators because they thrive on reaction. When they don't get it, they escalate, and escalation exposes them. That's when you see the pattern: pressure, guilt, urgency, flattery, threat. Once you recognize the pattern, it loses power. You're no longer inside the game, you're watching it, and the observer always has the advantage. Machiavelli warned that men who cannot rule themselves will always be ruled by others. So you rule your impulses ruthlessly. You don't argue when silence ends the conversation faster. You don't negotiate when walking away preserves leverage. You don't chase closure when closure is a luxury, not a necessity. This isn't emotional numbness, it's emotional sovereignty. You feel everything, but you answer to nothing impulsively. The more immune you become, the more people reveal their true intent. Those who sought to use you drift away. Those who respect strength tighten alignment. Your circles get smaller. Your space gets cleaner. Your mind gets quieter. If you're following this discipline, write this in the comments now. Unreachable by design. Lock it in. Because once manipulation fails, intimidation is next. And that fails too. Fear only works on those with something they're afraid to lose. You remove that by building inner stability. You don't cling to positions, titles, people, or outcomes. You can always walk. That freedom changes your posture. People sense it immediately. They know pressure won't bend you, so they stop applying it. Influence shifts. Conversations change tone. Negotiations rebalance. And you never announce this transformation. You let others discover it the hard way. You don't brag about discipline. You demonstrate it through consistency. Day after day, Pressure after pressure, test after test, each one that fails against you reinforces your immunity. Over time, you notice something almost unsettling. Life gets quieter, fewer conflicts, fewer manipulations, fewer dramatic confrontations, not because you're avoiding them, but because they no longer work. You've outgrown the battlefield most people are still fighting on. If this is resonating deeper than surface-level motivation, comment this as well. No leverage found, because that's what you've become, a system with no weak point. And this is where true power stabilizes. Not flashy, not loud, just immovable. Number 7, the architecture of inner rule. This is where the transformation becomes irreversible, when you stop reacting to life and start governing yourself like a system. Not a mood, not a phase, a structure. Most men are ruled internally by chaos. Impulses disguised as instincts, emotions mistaken for truth, habits running unchecked in the background. You dismantle that disorder. The Machiavelli Method isn't about domination of others first. It's about installing order within, because he who cannot command himself will always seek control outside, and that dependence is fatal. You begin to see your inner world as territory that must be defended, maintained, optimized. Thoughts are no longer entertained casually. If an idea weakens you, it is questioned. If a belief limits you, it is replaced. You stop identifying with every emotion that arises. Emotions are weather. You are the climate. They pass. You remain. This is masculine stoicism evolved. Emotional awareness without emotional obedience. You feel anger without letting it speak. You feel fear without letting it steer. You feel desire without letting it drive. That separation alone puts you ahead of most of the population. You develop internal laws, non-negotiables, standards that do not bend for convenience, pleasure, or pressure. When chaos hits, these laws hold. When temptation appears, these laws decide. This creates internal consistency, and consistency creates trust in yourself. Once a man trusts himself, he stops outsourcing decisions to approval, tradition, or impulse. He moves with authority because his inner hierarchy is clear. Discipline becomes automatic, not forced, not dramatic, quiet, boring, effective. You don't rely on motivation because motivation is emotional and unstable. You rely on structure. Structure outlives mood. This is why most men fail. They try to feel their way forward. You build systems so feeling is irrelevant. You wake when you said you would. You train when you committed to it. You remain composed when provoked. Not because it's easy, but because you decided. Self-rule is power multiplied over time. Every small act of discipline compounds into psychological weight. You carry yourself differently. You speak slower. You listen longer. You make decisions with less urgency and more certainty. People sense internal order immediately. It unsettles those who live in reaction. You stop seeking certainty from outcomes because certainty now comes from character. Even if something fails, you remain intact. Even if plans are disrupted, you adapt without panic. This creates a dangerous man, not reckless, but resilient. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who shape themselves to the times. That requires flexibility without instability. Order without rigidity. You learn when to be firm and when to bend, not emotionally, but strategically. Your mind becomes modular, adjustable, calm under pressure, not because you suppress fear, but because fear no longer governs response. You notice how often others try to destabilize you emotionally through urgency, shame, flattery, distraction. You recognize it instantly. And because your internal order is solid, external disorder cannot penetrate. You don't rush to defend your boundaries because your behavior already enforces them. You don't argue about respect because your standards determine access. This reduces noise. Drama fades. Weak alignments dissolve. What remains is clarity, direction, quiet momentum. You stop chasing intensity and start cultivating depth. Depth outlasts spectacle. Inner rule also sharpens patience. You stop expecting immediate validation, immediate progress, immediate payoff. You understand lag time, growth beneath the surface, psychological investments compounding slowly. This patience is rare, and rarity is leverage. While others burn themselves out seeking quick wins, you build foundations that don't collapse under stress. You no longer need to prove you're changing. The change is structural, and structure shows itself eventually, whether announced or not. If this section is landing, imprint this phrase internally. No explanation required. I govern myself. Because governance is freedom. And freedom is frightening to those still ruled by impulse. You don't evangelize this mindset, you live it. And that's when people start adjusting around you, not because you demand it, but because order commands respect. Number 8. Absolute self-ownership. This is where the illusion of control collapses for most people, and where your advantage becomes permanent. Absolute self-ownership means nothing inside you is accidental anymore. No borrowed beliefs, no inherited fears, no unconscious patterns running your life while you pretend you're choosing. Most men do not live as owners, they live as tenants inside their own minds. They react automatically, think predictably, and justify behavior after the fact. You eliminate that weakness entirely. You take responsibility not just for actions, but for thoughts, standards, tolerances, and boundaries. If something enters your life, you assume you allowed it. If something drains you, you assume you permitted it. This destroys the victim mindset at the root. There is no blame to hide behind, and without blame, clarity appears. Self-ownership is heavy, but weight creates strength. You stop seeing obstacles as interruptions and start seeing them as diagnostics. What failed? Where did you miscalculate? What system needs correction? This mindset makes you anti-fragile. Every mistake improves you instead of diminishing you. You don't emotionally punish yourself for failure. You extract value from it. No drama, no self-pity, just calibration. This alone separates the disciplined from the broken. You stop negotiating with your impulses. You don't ask how you feel before acting. You act, then feelings adapt. This flips the internal hierarchy, reason above emotion, principle above comfort. You become reliable to yourself, and that reliability creates self-respect. Real self-respect, not affirmation-driven confidence. Confidence that comes from knowing you do what you say you'll do, especially when no one is watching. That kind of integrity is invisible, but it radiates. Others pick up on it subconsciously. Your presence becomes grounded. Your words carry weight. You don't exaggerate. You don't posture. You don't seek dominance. You don't need to. Ownership eliminates insecurity, because insecurity is a gap between who you are and who you pretend to be. You close that gap. You live aligned. This does not make you rigid. It makes you clean. Decisions become simpler. Boundaries become clear. When something doesn't align, you disengage without anger or explanation. You don't try to save everyone. You don't try to fix broken systems. You don't argue reality. You accept it and move accordingly. Machiavelli understood that power belongs to those who adapt faster than the environment shifts. Self-ownership accelerates adaptation because nothing is wasted on denial. You don't lie to yourself to protect ego. Ego is expensive. You cut unnecessary costs. You study feedback dispassionately. If people walk away, you assess why, without bitterness, without self-soothing. If patterns repeat, you address the root, not the surface symptom. Over time, this builds an internal honesty most men can't tolerate. And because they can't tolerate it, they avoid it. You don't. You lean into it. You let truth sharpen you even when it's uncomfortable, especially then. This creates internal authority. When a man knows who he is, what he tolerates, and where he's going, he becomes difficult to influence improperly. Manipulation fails, pressure fails, temptation fails. Not because you're perfect, but because you're awake. You see trade-offs clearly. You choose intentionally. Self-ownership also redefines freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. That's impulse. Freedom is choosing commitments and honoring them without resentment. You chain yourself to values so you're not dragged by feeling. That paradox is lost on most, but you understand it now. You don't seek comfort first. You seek alignment, and alignment creates peace deeper than pleasure ever could. This is the final psychological firewall. Once installed, regression becomes unlikely. You've crossed from reactive existence into deliberate construction. Your life is no longer happening to you. You are engineering it, quietly, methodically, relentlessly. Number 9, unbreakable. This is where it all converges, where theory hardens into instinct, where nothing in the external world has permission to shake you anymore. You are no longer becoming strong, you are operating from strength. Unbreakable does not mean untouched by hardship. It means no experience has the authority to dismantle you internally. Loss no longer erodes identity. Pressure no longer distorts judgment. Conflict no longer pulls you out of alignment. You have crossed the line most never reach, the point where resilience becomes default. The Machiavelli method was never about domination for spectacle. It was about making yourself immune to collapse. Because a man who cannot be broken cannot be controlled. You move through environments without rushing to prove competence. You let results accumulate quietly. You let time work for you instead of against you. You are calm not because you expect life to be easy, but because you expect yourself to handle it. That expectation rewires everything. Fear loses leverage when you trust your response more than the outcome. Anxiety fades when you stop attaching identity to circumstance. You no longer ask, what if it goes wrong? You ask, how will I respond if it does? That single reframe is power psychology at its purest. Most people fear uncertainty because they doubt themselves. You do not. You've tested yourself. You know your discipline holds under pressure. You know your mind doesn't fracture when challenged. That knowledge becomes unspoken confidence, felt long before it's explained. People sense it. Conversations change. Power dynamics adjust. You are no longer reacting to the emotional climate of the room. You are stabilizing it. This is masculine stoicism, embodied, silent, grounded, controlled. Now understand this clearly. Being unbreakable does not make you cold. It makes you selective. You care deeply, but only where it's earned. You commit fully, but never blindly. You give loyalty with eyes open, not from fear of solitude. You've learned the difference between connection and dependence, between commitment and attachment. That discernment protects your core. When chaos approaches, you don't brace emotionally. You orient strategically. You assess, you adapt, you move. There is no panic, because panic requires helplessness, and you no longer identify as helpless. If this resonates in your bones, lock it in by commenting this phrase now. Built, not shaken. Let that be your reminder, because nothing about this mindset is accidental. It is built, deliberately, day by day, decision by decision. When others break, they look for escape, distraction, blame. You look for pattern, leverage, correction. You don't dramatize adversity, you normalize endurance. Over time, this creates a paradox. Life feels lighter, not because it got easier, but because you stopped carrying unnecessary emotional weight. You don't rehearse imagined disasters. You don't ruminate on past damage. You remain present, forward-oriented, internally steady. That steadiness is rare, and rarity attracts both respect and challenge. Some will test you. They always do. Not because you provoke them, but because stability unsettles unstable people. You don't need to respond to every test. Your consistency is the response. Still, pay attention. When you realize nothing external has the power to derail your internal state, comment this too. No force enters, because that's what you've achieved. A closed system, pressure-tested, self-governed, calm, even under strain. This is not swagger. This is not bravado. This is quiet finality. And now comes the rule most never learn. You don't announce that you're unbreakable. You demonstrate it over time, through restraint, through silence, through composure when others unravel. You continue refining, continue observing, continue moving with intention. Because mastery is not a destination, it's maintenance. If you followed this entire sequence, comment this one final phrase, I remain. Then understand this. You are not here by accident. You found Sagrithm because something in you rejected fragility. Stay sharp, stay disciplined. If this series sharpened your mind, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Not for motivation, but for calibration. This was the Machiavelli Method. And now, nothing can break you.